Hello everyone, this is VINAY MOOLYA. I'm a BTech CSE undergrad at VID Chennai and my registration number is 20BC1318. Today, I'm going to give you some insight about one of the most advanced topics in network and communication, that is virtual private networks. Wonder what is VPN? A virtual private network gives you an online privacy and anonymity by creating a private network from a public internet connection. VPN masks your internet protocol address so your online actions are virtually untraceable. Most importantly, VPN services establishes secure and encrypted connections to provide greater privacy than even a secure Wi-Fi hotspot. Why do you need a VPN? Surfing the web or transacting on an unsecured Wi Fi network means you could be exposing your private information and browsing habits. That's why a virtual private network, better known as a VPN, should be a must for those who are concerned about their online security and privacy. Using a reliable virtual private network, VPN can be a safe way to browse the internet. VPN security is increasingly being used to prevent data from being snooped out by government agencies and major corporations or to access the blocked websites. Types of virtual private networks. Virtual private networks is basically of two types: remote access VPN, site to site VPN. Remote access VPN permits a user to connect to a private network and access all its resources remotely in a home or something. The connection between the user and the private network occurs through internet, and the connection is secure and private. Remote access VPN is useful for home users and business users. Site to site VPN is also called as a router to router VPN and is commonly used in large companies. Companies or organizations with branch offices in different locations use site to site VPNs to connect to the network of one office location to the other network. The site to site network VPN is further divided into two more categories: intranet based VPN and extranet based VPN. When several offices of the same company are connected using a site to site VPN, then it's called as intranet based VPN. But when companies use site to site VPN to connect to the office of another company, then it's called as extranet based VPN. Basically, site to site VPN creates an imaginary bridge between the networks at geographically distant offices and connect them through an internet and sustain a secure and a private communication between the networks. In site to site VPN, one router acts as a VPN client and another as a VPN router or the server. It is based on a router to router communication. When the authentication is validated between the client and the server, then only communication is possible. Why VPN? To know about why to use VPN, we need to have small glance on the history of the internet. Earlier, the telecommunications were dominating where the signals went through a central hub. As we are all are aware that the invention of internet was done by American militants because of the above issue of the central hubs. If these central hubs were destroyed or disrupted by nuclear attacks by the enemy countries, then the militants couldn't communicate with other militants in the zone, which would be disastrous. Hence, the era of the internet rose as it was self-healing mode of transmission. That is, the information was routed via many other routers from source to destination, and if any intermediary router undergoes dysfunction or gets destroyed, then the internet reroutes the information through another router and makes a new path to the destination. Though internet was self-healing, was it secure enough? Through the internet, all the data goes into these routers, which helps the hackers to interrupt the data flow and easily access this confidential data. The internet alone was very insecure in terms of data security. When data, what data travels while transmission? Each and every networking device has a unique address called the IP address. While transmission, the IP address of the sender and the receiver is encapsulated into a packet and sent to the ISP, the internet service provider, and then released into the internet. On its way in the internet, hackers may apply algorithms and strategies and extract this sensitive information, which can be disastrous. Also, the government can ask the internet service provider about all the information of a particular address for tracking purposes, which in turn hinders privacy and data security. So, in order to have some online privacy and feel secure about the data transmission, and the concept of virtual private networking boomed its presence. So now let's understand, how does VPN work? A VPN, or a virtual private network, is the easiest and the most effective way for people to protect their internet traffic and keep their identities private online. As you connect to a secure VPN server, internet traffic goes through an encrypted tunnel that nobody can see into, including hackers, government, and even internet service provider. A VPN works by routing your device internet connection through a chosen VPN private server rather than your internet service provider, so that when your data is transmitted to the internet, it comes from the VPN server rather than your computer. The VPN acts as an intermediary of sorts as you connect to the internet, thereby hiding your IP address. Furthermore, if your data is somehow intercepted, it will be unreadable and gibberish due to real-time encryption, which becomes really hard for hackers to decrypt. In the figure here, you can notice that this is the workstation or the VPN client, and basically look at the tunneling happening here. So this is the tunnel, and the data inside the tunnel is encrypted. So internet service providers cannot access the tunnel, nor the hackers and nor the government. We'll dig in deep into it in the next slide. The working of the VPN is quite sophisticated and complicated, but for an end user, it might be just simple of a few clicks. VPN is a client-server architecture, that is, there are VPN servers and VPN clients that can interact with each other to form a network, wherein the clients establish a secured connection with the server, which is then routed to the internet. VPN works on the basis of the tunneling protocol. I repeat, tunneling protocol. It creates a tunneled connection between the source and the destination, and the data that is sent through the tunnel is encrypted, making the data transfer more secure. So if the hackers try to access the data, the first point of contact would be the tunnel, and penetrating through itself, it is difficult but not impossible. Sophisticated hackers who penetrate into the tunnel, even though they capture the data, since it is in an encrypted fashion, it doesn't mean a lot to them. There's not much of meaning to it. But there might be some hackers who can apply some strategies or algorithm to find out what algorithm was used to encrypt the data and then decrypt the data. Here comes the highlight of the VPN. To provide more security to the user, the VPN has come up with a feature. If at all it detects any tunnel leaks or penetration, then instantly the tunnel is shut down, and it will re-establish the connection with the source and the destination in a different path. This is how data security is ensured in VPN mechanism. Let's have a brief understanding on illustration and understanding on the normal internet diagram and the VPN diagram. So this is your workstation in a normal internet diagram. Suppose you enter a domain address such as youtube.com, and that domain address goes in from this workstation to your router, which has its own IP address, and the internet service provider. This is your internet service provider. So when in a normal internet diagram, you are traceable by your IP address. So internet service provider comes to know about all the activity, the web activity that you do is logged into your internet service provider. So your IP address goes through the internet service provider, then it goes to the internet, then it interacts with the web server, that is the YouTube server, and gets a response and reaches back to your workstation. This is how a normal internet works, and you are traceable in a normal internet by your IP address. Let's move to the VPN diagram. In a VPN diagram, you might notice there is one additional component, that is the VPN server. So let me explain you. This is a VPN client, and suppose you enter the same domain again, youtube.com. So this is your router, and your router that is connected to your internet service provider. In this transition, your IP address will be masked because you're using a VPN server. So then your masked IP address comes to the internet, and then it goes to your VPN server, and from that VPN server you get an address. That address is passed to the internet, and then you access your web server, that's a YouTube server, and then you receive your response. I agree that there's a lot of travel time happening here, which might increase the response time. That means the internet can get slower, but your security and you'll be untraceable. Your security is maintained here. This is a difference between the normal internet and the VPN that you're using. Is VPN legal? Legality of VPN is absolutely dependent on the country or a jurisdiction and the rules imposed on the state you're living in. Due to VPN's features that are overpowering, which leads to many other things such as proxying or bouncing your location and anonymously using the internet, these advantages may sound illegal, but as per the US law, it is declared that the use of VPN is legal. And in fact, even many companies opt for VPN to provide remote jobs, and hence it has created a huge impact in terms of security since it follows the principle of tunneling and data encryption. There's a misconception that if you use a VPN, then the illegal activity that you're doing suddenly becomes legal. No, use of VPN in itself will not be illegal, but being a part of illegal activities such as which is violating the Digital Millennium Copyright Act and other indulging in other criminal activities such as pirating the copyright content, buying or selling in the dark web, hacking, stalking, cyberbullying, and so on is regarded as a cybercrime, and you will be penalized for the same. Punishments are highly dependent on the country you live in. If it's legal, then it's not a matter, but in countries which is illegal, you will be punished and or even prosecuted. Let's understand and have some knowledge about the protocols employed by the VPN. Basically, there are 7 protocols listed here: the Internet Protocol Security, the Layer 2 Tunneling Protocol, the Point-to-Point Tunneling Protocol, SSL, TLS, OpenVPN, and Secure Shell. Internet Protocol Security is used to secure your internet communication across an IP network. It secures your internet protocol communication by verifying the session and encrypts each data packet during the connection. It runs in 2 modes: transport mode and tunneling mode. The work of the transport mode is to encrypt the message in the data packet, and the tunneling mode encrypts the whole data packet. This protocol can also be integrated with other protocol to improve the security system. The Layer 2 Tunneling Protocol is a tunneling protocol that is often combined with other VPN protocol like IPsec to establish a higher secure VPN connection. The LT2P generates a tunnel between 2 LT2P connection points, and the IPsec protocol encrypts the data and maintains secure communication between the tunnels. So there is a double protection happening here. Point-to-point tunneling protocol generates a tunnel and other confines the data packet. The point-to-point is used to encrypt the data between the connection. It's one of the most used in the VPN protocol, and it has been used since the Windows release. There are other protocols such as SSL, that is Secure Sockets Layer, and TLS, that is Transport Layer Security. And also there is another protocol, that is OpenVPN, which is an open source VPN that is commonly used for creating point-to-point site-to-site connections. It uses a traditional security protocol based on the SSL or the TLS protocol. Secure Shell is another protocol which generates the VPN tunnel through which the data transfer occurs and also ensures that the tunnel is encrypted. So SSH connections are generated by a SSH client, and the data is transferred from a local port to the remote server through the encrypted tunnel. Let's have some glance on features of VPN. The major advantageous features of virtual private networking is to provide the data security and online privacy. Using VPN is very beneficial as it involves encrypting the data sent, ensuring the data security, and also it hides the private sensitive information of the user and helps him surf the web anonymously, enhancing his privacy and online security from hackers and data breach. Also, the users can stream the content that are restricted to a particular geolocation as VPN involves changing the location geographically. Be it Netflix series or booking flights and hotels, that it is observed that these things are way more cheap when you're booking the ticket using a VPN. Also, there are many other benefits which include strict no logs policy. That is, your VPN's provider can will never record your web activity. Uninterrupted streaming, privacy, multi factor authentication, split tunneling support, masking your IP address, use easy to use, multi device supported, blocks ads and malwares, and no data leaks. VPN service is vast and provides you a 24/7 support. Let's bring it down to pros and cons of VPN. Let's first discuss about the advantages. Advantages of VPN is that it secures your data, it provides online privacy, changes your IP to bypass the geoblocks, fights bandwidth throttling, improves your gaming experience, usually affordable and also can save you money sometimes while booking the tickets as previously seen. Helps you avoid online discrimination, that is the restriction on some content. Disadvantages of VPN. It might reduce your internet speed as your additional component of VPN server is coming and there's an increase in the travel time. Your response time can be increased and there might be slow internet. Cheap or free VPNs may be insecure and may lead to data breach. Premium VPNs are expensive. Improperly configured VPNs can expose you to threats. Some VPN organization might log activities as per the government regulation, hindering privacy. Let's unreveal some unknown features of VPN. Based on the real facts, it is observed that really bad wiring older than 15 years are disastrous for VPN connection as there will be a lot of packet drops and hence the VPN would consider that there is a hack attack happening, so it will drop the connection and re-establish again and again iteratively as explained before. Hence VPN cannot be used for its optimum regions with places which have bad wiring. Also, the use of old networking equipments or the routers that don't support VPN pass through can hinder the functioning of a VPN and hence VPN cannot be used for its optimum. Also, since it's establishing an extra connection to the VPN server and then with the internet, there will be some impact on the response time and the speed of the network. Hence, pushing and pulling large chunks of data becomes slow and a bad experience for a user too. Let's go discuss about the future and the scope of the VPN. The need of the VPN is increasing due to the rising cybersecurity threats, but there are also unique factors to consider, such as cloud using, understanding how to protect personal data. 95% of businesses now have sensitive data in the cloud, and more are migrating there every day. As enterprises move away from on premise workloads towards the data centers via their cloud strategies, they require remote access to their data all the time, regardless of the location. A VPN has the ability to help that organization achieve a network security when it decides to centralize its data in the cloud. Enterprises are filling this need by signing on with large contracts for VPN providers. As a result, the growth of the VPN market is trending upwards. 95% of Americans are concerned about how companies use their data, and over 80% are more concerned today than they were a year ago. Their concern is leading them to take security measures, and the growing VPN industry suggests that the consumers are increasingly turning to VPN as a resource for protecting their personal data online. As awareness of the need of cybersecurity grows and more users continue to turn to VPN, I predict that there will be naturally be a higher demand for more powerful tools, VPN tools. As the public grows more tech savvier to these tools, I believe we'll see some higher security or quality standards will rise. As a result, VPNs will get faster and become more secure as the competition grows. And we may even see VPN providing many other features too, which will be more helpful in the future. Although VPN cannot protect us from every online threat, Consumers and enterprises are starting to appreciate the necessity of the encryption abilities. As there are a lot of dark activities happening, the future of the VPN is likely to become even more brighter. Thank you everyone. This is Vinay MOOLYA. Hope you enjoyed this session on virtual private networking. Thank you.